Welcome to Retiring Well, and thank you for joining us today. We have a great show mapped out for you and put together with our whole advisor team across Northern Michigan here. Starting off the show this week, we're going to be talking about the retirement accounts you should be considering. Sometimes it feels like alphabet soup out there with all the different accounts out there, but what are some of the ones that you should be considering and some of the benefits for that? Then, taking withdrawals in a down market. Boy, in retirement, sometimes you can't control when you need funds, but what if the market's not on your side at that time? What does that look like, and maybe some things to consider when doing that? Then, how to roll over your 401k. What if you're leaving the workplace, retiring, or just flat want to do something different? Items to consider and how that may work for you. And finally, pension buyout options. Maybe you're fortunate enough that you've had a job somewhere along the way that you've been offered a pension and there's a lump sum buyout option. What does that look like? Some things to be cautious and concerned of, and helping you walk through maybe that decision with you. All of this and so much more coming at you right now here on Retiring Well.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
Hey, welcome to this segment on retirement accounts you should consider. This will be fun to just talk about all the different retirement accounts that are out there and how they may or may not apply to you. Let's start with the most common one, the good old 401k. Now, this is a tax deferred account, so when you contribute to it, it will not count as taxable income in the year of contribution. You are deferring those taxes until you retire and make withdrawals. Then it'll be considered taxable income. There's some important contribution limits that you'd want to know about. You know, right now in 2023, your maximum contribution is $22,500. If you are age 50 or older, you get what's called a catch-up provision, and that allows you to contribute up to $30,000 into this 401k. A lot of times these have company matches or employer matches. You might see 3, 4, 5% match. Sometimes I come across people that are asking about retirement, but they're missing the contributions into their 401k, which means they're missing their match, and they're missing that what we call free money. And so if you're sitting there working and you have a 401k but you're not utilizing it, look to see if there's a match and if that might be a fit to make your employer contribute some free funds into your account. Okay. The next one might be a solo 401k. This is an individual 401k. This might be a self-employed person or business owner, and they might want to contribute into some retirement accounts. And so sometimes if they're eligible for this account, their contribution limits are much higher. Right now, $66,000 into a solo 401k. And if they're 50 or older, they can catch that $7,500 catch-up provision for this, so they could defer up to $73,500. The next one is going to be for nonprofit and tax-exempt organizations. That would be the 403B. So maybe it's a hospital or something like that, and the 403B is going to have $22,500 as the maximum 2023 contribution limits. With age 50 or older catch-up provisions, that would increase that limit all the way up to $30,000. What you'll see in these plans sometimes is for a hospital worker, let's say, they'll see a 403B and a 401k. What's happening there is they're contributing into their 403B, but the company is matching into a 401k. So that's kind of common. The next one is your 457. This is going to be for state and local governments a lot of times. These plans are somewhat unique in that they have one exemption that is really cool to know about. These other plans have typically age 59 and a half, where you'd have to be before you'd have, in order to take money out penalty free. Otherwise, there can be a up to 10% early withdrawal penalty from these other retirement accounts. With the 457, that rule does not apply. I was a teacher. I learned about this rule. I started saving in my 457. That way, if life happens and I ever needed to make some distributions, I won't have to be subject to that 10% early withdrawal penalty. So 457, if you have that available, definitely look into it. There's also some changing currents in these retirement plans where now they're starting to offer Roth 401ks, Roth 403bs, Roth 457s. And that's been an awesome development because with the Roth contributions, okay, you have paid your taxes. And these are after-tax money that goes into these investments, and they can grow tax-free. So you can start your tax diversification strategies. Another one is the good old traditional IRA, individual retirement account. Your 2023 maximum contributions are $6,500. And if you're 50 or older, that increases by $1,000, and you can get up to $7,500 in deferred taxes. The other account that's the tax-free version of that is the Roth IRA. Same contribution limits of $6,500 with a $1,000 catch-up provision after age 50. There's another thing that is lesser known as what is called a self-directed IRA. With these self-directed IRAs, sometimes you might like Bitcoin or precious metals or even real estate, and you can put those into these retirement accounts. You have the simple IRA, and that's for smaller businesses, maybe 100 employees or less. They can do either a mandatory 2% match or up to 3% voluntary contributions that they'll match if their employees are saving in those kind of plans. That 2023 contribution limit is $15,500 with a $3,500 catch-up provision if you're 50 or older. Finally, you have your SEP IRA. This is going to be for employers that might be business owners, and they can defer up to 25% of their compensation, or $66,000 in 2023. And finally, your HSA, your health savings account. If you're eligible through a high deductible health savings plans, these are phenomenal accounts to look at to help pay for your health insurance costs. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.
As you are planning for retirement, where's your journey taking you? Do you know where you are going? How are you going to get there? And what's the best route to take? Do you have a personal retirement roadmap? At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we specialize in retirement planning, and we have designed a complimentary retirement roadmap video series that can be customized based on your personal circumstance and preferences. There is no cost and no obligation. Simply go to cen-wealth.com/roadmap and provide us with some basic information that will guide you to your on-demand, customized retirement roadmap video. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me.
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. Contact us today.
When you have confidence in your retirement future, you can live the life you've always imagined. Because of planning, you now have time to reflect on the wonderful memories of your life. You and your spouse finally have the luxury of leisure time together. To spend fun times with your grandkids, sharing the joy of their excitement about life. Smiling at the thought of quality time with your children and of picking up the check. At last, you have time to breathe and rekindle the love of your life. Why? Because you imagined what could be. You planned for retirement. So today, you own your future.
This may not be the most fun topic for you to hear, but it's vital, talking about retirement withdrawals in a down market. Unfortunately, that's just sort of the reality of investing. There's going to be good times in the market and not so favorable times in the market. But a lot of times when you look at historically from weak markets, there's usually some type of bounce back, and you don't want to miss out on that rebound. The old adage of you want to buy low, sell high, that concept. So when the market's down, you're typically trying to avoid selling during a down market. Although you could realize a loss during that time frame, which may or may not be favorable for you from a tax perspective, but it's not fun to see your investments down and then on top of that you're taking a withdrawal. So let's walk through maybe 6 helpful tips to consider when withdrawing during a down market. The first, don't panic. Avoid making emotional decisions. This is true with any type of investment planning. You want to look at it ideally from the long run and the stability of having that retirement savings invested for a long period of time. Cashing out and then trying to time the market normally just doesn't work to your favor. Number 2, be financially cautious. So if your income depends heavily on the market, first off, that's probably a problem. You want to make sure that you've built some type of portfolio that you're structured in a way where you know what your long-term income plan is. So you may, if you're in a situation like that and you're heavily depending on the market for your income, you're going to probably have to reduce your spending, which isn't something easy. You may have to stop looking at buying the new car or going on vacation or dining out. And so again, you want to structure your plan so that you have some type of stable income. Number 3, try to leave your money in the stock market. It essentially may help you with inflation over the long run. Number 4, postpone withdrawals. If you have time to recover during a weak market, maybe you're younger, then it's ideal to sort of leave the money invested and avoid drawing money out during those times that the market's down. Retirees may, though, need that money, and so you need that regular cash flow. You might want to look at assets that aren't necessarily correlated to the market. What about a savings account, or if you have sort of a fixed annuity that's paying some type of set interest rate and doesn't have the volatility? What about having a strategic portfolio plan? So with this, envision there's liquid money that you know that you're going to access in the near term in, say, the next few years. So you have that where you're not exposed to market risk. Maybe there's some midterm money where you've got that structured in a way to draw from over the next, say, 3 to 8 years. There's some long-term money that, okay, that's money you're not going to be drawing from for over 8 years, so maybe you have room for some volatility in the market. Each of those different types of categories should be invested differently. You should have them structured in a way where you know, okay, if I've got 8 or more years, that could take on a little bit heavier risk, but that money that you're drawing from in the next few years shouldn't have that exposure to market risk. Number 6 is make sure to allocate your assets properly. Diversification is vital when it comes to investments, and especially when it comes to retirement planning and when you're drawing income. You don't want to set yourself up for failure by taking on more risk than you're comfortable experiencing. So take a look at your investments. Quite honestly, 2022, with all the market volatility that we experienced in both the equity and the bond markets, would be a good measure for you to see, okay, how did my portfolio react? And have you considered using maybe a fixed or fixed index annuities for a portion of your retirement? Those would eliminate some of the volatility within the market. There's tools that are available that don't have the market exposure, but could provide you reasonable returns. What are the banks offering? What are government bonds offering? Those types of things. Insurance companies, and not all advisors are necessarily licensed to offer all the different types of tools that you may be interested in. So if you have questions, concerns about your retirement plan, we encourage you to give us a call here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, where we can help you plan to retire well.
If you like watching Retiring Well, make sure to go to youtube.com/retiringwell and click the subscribe button to never miss any of our TV shows and other informative videos.
Taxes follow you even into retirement. When you start taking income from your qualified retirement accounts, taxes are owed at your ordinary tax rates. Our holistic retirement planning approach includes tax planning and implementing tax reduction strategies. Centennial Wealth Advisory can help. Call the number on your screen or visit our website and request your complimentary initial consultation.
Financial planning is more than just providing for yourself. It's making sure your loved ones are taken care of. It's preserving and protecting what you've worked for all those years. It's leaving a legacy to your children and grandchildren. It's providing a level of stability and security. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
You know, we love offering great information to you on the show and hope you always find it valuable and keep tuning in every week. We also have available at any time. You can go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to that, and we have uploaded all sorts of our old television shows and individual videos about very specific topics that you can find helpful. So as I dive into this topic, here's a great example of what would be available on a very shortened version of these topic-specific things. So this particular area here we're going to discuss for the next few minutes is rolling over your 401k. So you've worked along for some period of time and you've accumulated assets in an employer 401k. And what options do you have for that? I want to talk about a few different things to look at. The one thing that I want to pause for a second and read is rollovers can be a complex tool and there's a lot of things to look at. So before you do any rollover, make sure to consult a financial professional to determine your exact benefit to you, cost, fees, all that sort of stuff, because you want to have a great look at that. Don't go into this blind because there's a lot of pieces that are very important to consider. So when you're looking at this, first let's consider our options that we have available. And let's assume we're leaving an employer to go to a different job. So I've worked somewhere for a while, now I'm going to a different job. I can leave my money in the current employer plan, the one I've already worked for. Most of the time they allow us to leave it there. There's in some instances that they kind of force you out, but usually you have the ability to leave it there. That's one option. You can roll it into your new company's 401k plan if they're offering one there. That is an option there. You can take a distribution. Could be careful with that one, as you can imagine, potential challenges with depending upon your age and tax situation, but literally you can get a check and have it in your bank account, if you will, or you can roll it to your own IRA. So looking at taking it out completely and roll it into your IRA account. Some of the other things though to consider when doing this is how you go about doing this. So again, depending upon what you're doing, but let's assume you're going to roll it to your own individual IRA. One, do it through a direct rollover. That you never take possession of the money that way, and it goes directly from the 401k plan right into your individual IRA. The other thing is called a 60-day rollover rule or provision. You may have heard this before, but again, if you happen to take possession of the money, either because they mailed you a check or you wanted to, There's a very stringent rule that you have to get this money back into a qualifying plan in 60 days, otherwise it becomes taxable. It is a hard and fast 60 days, and so keep that in mind if that rule comes into play for you. The other thing is every single company that we've ever helped folks with rollovers in tends to kind of have their own set of rules, their own set of guidelines when you're doing these rollovers. Make sure you are aware of what those are and you're following those. Some companies will have a fair amount of paperwork you have to complete and forms that you have to do. Others, you just simply log on to your online account and you can have it done in a few seconds, it feels like, and it's fairly simple. Others require phone calls, and some will even require notaries, signature guarantees, spousal sign-offs, and there's different various things. So again, be aware of what the rules are, requirements, and the provisions are so you can have an uninterrupted rollover when that time comes. So items to consider when you're looking at, should I roll funds over, should I leave them where I'm at, and such. First, cost. What is it costing you to have that plan there? What are the fees they're charging? Will the fees change if you leave it? Will the fees change if you roll it somewhere else? What is all that happening? Investment options or preferences. What investment options are available in each circumstance you're considering? Where the plan is now, where you're going to, and what are you trying to accomplish? Access to professional management and planning. Different plans have different access to stuff. Different IRAs have different access to stuff. What are you seeking and hoping to accomplish during that time? Accessing the funds. Depending upon your age and when you may want to access funds, may help determine where the best place is suitable for you. There's different withdrawal ages depending on the plans that you're in, so be aware of that. Access to 401k loans. Some 401ks, employer plans, allow you to take loans against that money, where traditionally an IRA does not. So again, when you're looking at a rollover, there's lots of things to consider. So make sure if you're doing it by yourself, you're well aware of all the things, but when you're speaking with a professional, again, they'll help you examine all these sort of things so we can determine what is in the best case for you and what makes the most sense for your individual situation.
At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we take a holistic approach to your retirement planning. So it's not just looking at what your investments are, but what is that long-term income plan for the next 30, 40 years of your retirement? What about taxes and what role they play in your retirement plan? Estate planning, what about life insurance, health insurance planning, all key areas to consider when looking at your retirement. So please visit our website or call the number on the screen. We'd love the opportunity to sit down with you for a no-cost, no-obligation visit.
Your grandchildren are precious to you. They are your life. This is your time to have that special relationship. Taking care of yourself is taking care of them. Centennial Wealth Advisory is offering a free, no-obligation retirement review to make sure you don't run out of money during your retirement. Centennial Wealth Advisory. Your best is yet to come.
Retirement, something you've likely dreamed about for many years. Maybe you're approaching it here very soon or just recently retired. This is just for you then. Here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we've created a retirement roadmap. Retirement is filled with many choices. What are you going to do with the grandkids? What trips you're going to go on? But first, we need to map out what this plan looks like. Where's the income going to come from? What investments is going to match up to produce that income? How are taxes going to look, and is there something that can be done to improve the situation today and for years down the road? Estate planning. What happens when you're gone and you're not here? What would you like to see happen with your assets and your estate and all of your loved ones that are left behind? Healthcare. You know, all the different options that exist out there and how different levels of income may dictate how much you're paying for your healthcare. Putting all those things together in a roadmap is a vital thing to retirement success. And not only that, but the confidence that you can go into that knowing you have a plan in place that allows you to enact all these dreams that you've had over the years. Simply go to our website at cen-wealth.com and there's an area to click on to sign up for this retirement roadmap. You'll get instant download and can watch it right away. And the beautiful thing is it asks just a couple questions and it hones in it and customizes it just for you and your particular situation. We hope that this video provides great value for you and again, gives you the confidence heading into your retirement so you can plan to retire well.
All right, welcome back, folks. Now I want to talk about pensions. Now, I know oftentimes they're pretty hard to come by in today's day and age, but if you have one, you want to stay tuned because I'm going to be talking about all things pensions and how to navigate those different pension buyout options that you have. Generally, when you have a pension, you have a couple different options, actually two. Okay, option one would be you could take a lump sum, and that's where the company pays you a lump sum of money and you're done with it. That's what you got, okay? But what most people find, or most people relate to pensions, is that monthly income stream. So that's option two, okay? And what that entails is the pension will pay you a monthly income guaranteed based on the backing of that company for the rest of your life. Now, typically with that, the payment doesn't go up, it doesn't change whatsoever. It's a flat payment for the rest of your life. So that's the options that you need to take. Do I take the lump sum or do I take the monthly pension payout? So each option has their pros and cons. So let's start with that lump sum. The pros for that is that you gain control of those assets right then and there. So you take that lump sum, whether it's $200,000 or $300,000, whatever it might be, and you roll that over into an IRA and you have control over those assets. You can invest it however you want, okay? Another pro about that pension lump sum is that, heaven forbid, something terrible were to happen to you early in retirement, let's say. Let's say that you passed away, okay? Well, you would be able to name beneficiaries and they would be able to inherit that lump sum of money. Now let's talk about that pension monthly installment plan. Pros for that, it's peace of mind, right? You get that guaranteed income for the rest of your life. You can count on that. You know what it's going to be month over month and you can plan for it. Another benefit of that is you don't have to worry about investing that lump sum in the market, right? You know you've got that steady monthly income coming in. However, there are some disadvantages to that pension monthly income installment plan as well. One of those being, hey, what about inflation? If you know your pension is going to pay you $1,500 a month, let's say, for the rest of your life, 20 years from now, is that $1,500 a month going to be the same? Yes, it will be, but bread and milk are going to cost more, right? So, and that's not a bad thing. It's just something that we need to plan for as well. The big thing that most people walk away from this is whatever option you choose, make sure you have a plan for it and make sure that that option gives you the most peace of mind as you go into retirement. So if you have questions and you have a pension and you want to know which option might be best for you, please don't hesitate to reach out to the number on the screen. Give us a call. We'd be happy to go over those different pensions options with you and determine which one makes the most sense for your situation.